Through the mist we rise, a force unbroken, with banners high and hearts awoken. The sound of pipes, our war is calling. Like thunderous waves, our duty is falling. Stand tall, together we fight, with courage found in every breath. We'll fight like lions, defy our death. In unity our hearts shall sing the legacy of warriors through every reign. With battle cries we forge our fate, in fields of valor we elevate. As shadows loom, our spirits flee. Brothers in arms, we are the tree. Fearless, we take the night, with courage found in every breath. We'll fight like lions, defy our death. In unity, our hearts shall sing the legacy of warriors through every reign. As dawn breaks, we know our name.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday edition of the Weekend Paranormal Supernatural Coffee Talk. I'm Nighthawk, one half of your host, and Eric is patiently waiting backstage. I don't know how, but he kicked himself off, so I'm going to let him do his thing. He's going to be in the chat too, and I'm going to go through and do the intro like I always do, the introduction to what we're talking about today. And, you know, I got to do the damn disclaimer. So let's get into all that and we'll get into what our subjects are today. And there's quite a few different ones, from reptilians to more objects in the sky, including something I found and recorded late last night about 7:45 in the evening in the sky, just as the sun was setting, somewhere around that time. The sun was at the horizon and there was an object in the sky almost at a 45-degree angle from the sun. And I got it circled on a still photo from the video, but Eric was gracious enough to upload the video from my phone for me because my phone wouldn't upload to StreamYard for some reason. Imagine that. Anyways, disclaimer is, let me pop it up here. Okay, this is the disclaimer. And by the way, the music is my own music. All the video and stuff talking about today is my own information and my own research. Okay. And your all's opinion. Okay. Because we do this as an open format to discuss everything. Okay. So that being said, let's get into this. Okay. The disclaimer is this channel may use some copyrighted material without specific authorization of the owner, but contends that it falls under the fair use, which is the Copyright Act of 1976, which makes allowances for fair use for purposes such as criticism, commentary, news reporting, teaching, scholarship, research, parody, and let's not forget entertainment value under Section 107 of the Copyright Act of 1976. And furthermore, wow, that was a lung capacity spit out there. I felt like I was remember the Hot Wheels guy from the 80s?
Yeah.
Talk really fast. I think that was me just now.
Yeah.
As always, I claim fair use of all content. Copyright Act 1976. Furthermore, I wish to acknowledge that not all the opinions and theories are not necessarily the opinions or the views of Nighthawk Eye Strangers podcast channel, or AKA William Nighthawk myself. We at Nighthawk Eye Strangers YouTube channel and X channels, because we got rid of Facebook. God, I got to change that quickly. Merely bring the open format to discuss the possibilities of topics happening in the past, present, and future. Please join the Nighthawk Eye Strangers YouTube channel family by subscribing and hit that like button if you would, please. For some reason, I'm only getting like 20 some likes on every live that we do, but yet I'm getting a couple hundred people watching it. I can't figure that out. I don't know if it's YouTube that's limiting it or what, but it's getting ridiculous. Join the subscribe. Please hit the like button. Join the chat family. Be respectful in the chat and put all questions in capital letters. Thank you. All righty. Yeah, I don't know what's going on with the whole thing with YouTube, or if it's StreamYard that's not recording them, but for some reason I get like maybe 25, 27 likes on the live videos where we have, 100 and anywhere from 190 to 290 people that actually view it. And it's absolutely absurd to think that you get that few likes. So they're holding back. They're definitely, and it's because Google's under control of them. That's why Google actually owns them. And you know what's going on with Google. So, and my battle with AI, Eric. It's a never-ending thing with AI. I'm battling it day and night. So,
yep.
But I briefly told everybody about what I kind of captured the other night, last night. And it was probably about 7:45 in the evening. I had just got done having a small fire in the fire pit there. You know how else we do. We burn off cardboard and stuff and paper and stuff, so we don't have to put it in the trash. And so I got done doing that, burned up a couple pieces of old junk wood, and noticed something in the sky. And at first it was a flash, like old time. Remember the 110 cameras that had the flash built into it?
Yep.
And you push the button and it would flash real briefly and then brighten up the whole room and then stop. Well, I saw that happen in the sky. Okay. And I for the longest time, I couldn't figure out what it was. And then I looked up again about a minute later after I walked around the fire to make sure everything was kosher. And I noticed this slither of what looked like to be a crescent moon, about 45-degree angle from setting sun.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking to myself, well, the moon is coming over on the east side already, at this time of the night. It's usually about a quarter of the way in the sky at where we are. Okay. And I could see it like over the top of the house, in the front part of the house. So I knew it wasn't the moon, but it looked exactly like a crescent moon shape. And I circled it in yellow on the still screenshot that I took of the video, so everybody can see, because I'm not sure how well you'll be able to see it from the video, because the video on my camera sucks, because it's it's an Android, folks. So it's not an iPad or an iPhone or anything like that. So not even a Samsung. Heck, it's not even a Boost Mobile or a cheap phone like that. So I'm going to play that video real quick, and I want to see if anybody else has actually had any weird things happen. I'm going to pop up some other pictures too of some things that happened too, and it just doesn't make sense to me. So let me go down to the video here. Oh, and first off, before I get into that, I want to thank everybody for being here. Let's see. I go to the chat real quick. I want to say hello to everybody. And happy birthday to everybody born this day. If you're 196 going on 197, I want you on the podcast because you're a freaking miracle. So, but happy birthday to everybody born today. Let's see who we got. We got Kyle first in the house. Then we got, of course, Eric. And then we got Carl delivering his packages to Bigfoot Whisperer in the chat. And we've got, let's see, who else we got? We have, well, you guys are chatting away, Kyle and Carl. Man, oh man, it's like your neighbors. Jonaside, good to see you. Urso, always a pleasure to have you in the house, bro. Squash Topic, Josh, good to see you, brother. Good to see you. Johnny, good to see you. Roxanne, always a pleasure. Keep your chompers out to stand by for Eric, just in case. Corey, always good to see you in the house, brother. Always good to see you in the house. All right, who else we got? Man, you guys have been chatting away. Awesome. Absolutely. Diego, good to see you in the house. And let's see here. Michelle, good to see you in the house. Marcy, good to see you. Tom, good to see you. Uncivil, there they are. Good to see you, Uncivil. All right. I think, Judy, good to see you. Auntie Erin, good to see you. Let's see. Who else we got? Wow, we got a full house today so far. This is awesome. This is awesome. If I forget anybody, I apologize. David, I know you were there. David and Melissa, good to see you guys. Let's see. Okay. I think that's everybody. If I missed somebody, I apologize. Okay. But let's see. Let me get back to the video and I'll put that up there. First off, I want to show you the still picture of what I saw. You probably see it a little better because that video camera on my phone is just terrible. I'm not even sure how well this turned out to actually see. In fact, I'm going to put my glasses on. So. I don't know if you can see it, but it's real faint.
I can barely see anything.
Yeah, it's real faint. It's like a sliver. It's literally like a sliver. Somebody took an X-Acto knife and carved a smiley face in the sky. You know, with the mouth. It's literally like that. Okay. I'm not even sure if I circled the right area, but I believe it is. I'll play the video and you guys.
Yeah, there's
you
something
guys
faint in the circle.
Yeah, just keep an eye out when you see the sunset. Keep an eye out to your upper left corner of the screen of the video, and you should see it. Okay. So let me go down to the video, and I'll just play that real quick. Because you remember the moon was in the opposite side of my over top of my house in the front part of the house. So it wasn't the moon. That's what kind of freaked me out about it. Okay, if the sun is setting, then what is the shape of a crescent moon doing in the sky? And mind you, this is west. This is not east. East is this direction. So the moon, if it was rising, would be rising from the east like the sun does. But the sun is setting, and right there in the sky is a crescent-shaped moon. Thin sliver of a crescent-shaped moon or something else. Just curious. Question everything, guys. Did you see it?
Barely.
Yeah, it's definitely there. I mean, it's where I circled on it, but it's very, very faint. but it looks like literally somebody took an X-Acto knife to the sky and just did a smiley face.
Yeah.
I don't know. I just thought that was interesting because a lot of the things that people are seeing in the sky nowadays, it kind of makes sense. You know, you have people seeing stuff like this all the time, you know, with the moon, you know, with the object next to it, you know, or you have stuff like this being seen, you know, which that's kind of what it was with me, but it was more of a sliver of a crescent shape than it was an exact circle. So I don't know, man. It was weird because, like I said, the moon was in the other part of the sky. So, and that's the first time I've seen something like that, other than like maybe the possibility of something weird, you know, that was, you know, announced it was going to happen, you know, in advance, that you would see like an eclipse or a solar or a lunar eclipse or something like that. But I don't think it was anything like that because the object was significantly away from the sun setting, and it was a little higher in the sky, but it wasn't the moon. So, and it was too big to be like say a planet from a distance, you know, like Mars or you know, Jupiter or Saturn or something like that, you know. So what got me was the crescent shape. And then I started thinking about, well, didn't the guy that saw the crescent shaped crafts that flew over the state of Washington back in the 40s, was it the 40s or was it the 60s? I think it was the 60s. Didn't he report seeing crescent shaped craft like that?
I think so. Sorry, I was replying to new member in the chat.
Yeah, that thing had to have been huge. I mean, if that was a craft that I was staring at the distance I was staring at it, that thing would probably put a shadow across half of the globe. Honestly, that's how big it was. So I don't know, man. You know, we get reports of stuff like this happening all the time. It wasn't a meteor, it wasn't an asteroid, it wasn't anything, you know. But you know, we know that this stuff happens. You know, we've seen it happen. We've seen video of it and our own sightings of it happening. We had the thing that happened in Ohio recently, and there was another one in Texas that was recorded, and that one was really something. That one was, I don't even think I uploaded a picture of that. Damn it. Figures. All right. Let me see if I can find one. No, I didn't upload a picture of that one in Texas. I wish I would have. But anyways, the one in Texas that was reported was fiery oranges in color. Everybody thought it was a meteor, okay? But then it did something very odd. It started moving in a serpentine-like manner in the sky. And it did it for a very long time. There's a video on YouTube out, and it shows it. Minutes to Horror and Seconds to Horror has that video. And if you want to visit his channel, he talks a lot about some weird stuff too, like I do. But he's got the actual video of it. And to me, it's almost like it was alive, the way it was moving. And it's a legitimate, it's not AI, it's not CGI, it's nothing like that at all. It is a legitimate video because you can see this thing in the sky pretty high up in our atmosphere, and it goes. You can see the shape of it go behind the electrical wires, the power lines and stuff, and then come back out and then back up again. And it was flying around like a snake would in the sky. So it was pretty cool. I don't know if you could bring that up or find that, Eric, on YouTube, and maybe upload that video so everybody can see what I'm talking about, so they don't think I'm crazy. But Minutes to Horror and Second to Horror has it too on his YouTube channel.
Which one is it?
The one over Texas, it looks like a fire serpent, but they claimed it was a meteor, and then it started moving around like a snake in the sky. I'm going to go to the chat real quick and see what everybody's saying. That crazy blind old Indian.
You do have a question.
Okay, what's the question here?
Freaky says, question, are all these meteors or spaceships being seen mostly in the U.S., hardly ever in Canada?
That's the one thing I've noticed too, but over Ontario, there was an incident recently over Ontario, Canada, where there was objects in the sky, and it was the three-pointed triangle, white orbs or yellowish orbs that we normally see. That was over Ontario, and it sat there for the longest time. And there's a video of that online too, but it was over Ontario. So I just don't think that they reported as much, because I hate to say this about our northern neighbors, but they've kind of gone off on a different path. And, I still have people in Saskatchewan, Alberta, and British Columbia, and, all the way over to Vancouver Island that are my friends and stuff that I watch their channels, and they kind of keep an eye on mine and all that. And I wouldn't give them up for anything in the world. So, and they tell me that they're seeing things all the time. There's been reports of Vancouver Island having all kinds of weird stuff happening, but yet nobody's talking about it. And I almost think that it's like they're afraid to be drawn out and ridiculed about it by maybe even their own government, if you can call it a government anymore. It's the same with the UK right now. All my friends out there, and those who you are, the world is definitely changing, and why? There can be a numerous number of reasons why the world is changing. It could be supernatural, it could be spiritual, it could be different things. Okay. And I've always said for the longest time, everybody said, oh, the veil's thin, the veil's thin. I've said for the past probably 6 years, 7 years, that the veil's not thin, the veil is completely ripped down. And that's just the way it is right now. We have several different types of worlds interacting in the same space. Okay, it's like the one scientist said, the astrophysicist said, that you can have multiple realities happening within the same place and time in one location at the same time. And is that what's happening? Maybe it is. Maybe it's a reason for the whole Mandela effect too. How you have that quantum entanglement of different worlds, different timelines and different, parallel universes or dimensions interwoven together, entangled, that occasionally they meet. Okay. Occasionally they cross paths, and you have like people seeing dinosaurs, or you have people seeing, another race on this planet, or you have people witnessing craft coming through a portal, just all kinds of weird, bizarre stuff. So I don't think the veil is there anymore. I think the veil is completely ripped and shattered and torn to pieces. And I think that it's it's starting to show everybody right now exactly how the makeup of our world really is. So, and it's such a significant, intricate design that there's only one being that could actually do it, and that's just my opinion.
Hey, what
So,
was the only the meteor over Texas, and it's been reported 15 hours ago up to 15 minutes ago is a regular meteor. What was that other site you was asking about?
it was minutes to horror and seconds to horror. They both have on his podcast, he has videos of it. You'll have to go through the podcast though to see it.
Okay, yeah, because I'm finding a ton of videos on that meteor over Texas, but it's just a regular meteor that breaks apart once it hits the atmosphere. It's nothing strange at all.
Yeah, this one actually flew around in the sky and did serpentine moves that literally, if you hooked military flares up to a drone and used a large drone high up in the sky, you could probably pull the effect off from what you saw. But it looked like it was so far up in the sky that it wasn't no military drone, because I don't think we have anything that flies that high. You're talking like space. So you're talking like up above the ionosphere, basically. So, was it something that we don't know? Was it something that SpaceX did that we don't know about, or NASA did we don't know about? Because it's, my opinion about NASA and SpaceX, I just think that they're the continuation of the Babylon Tower. Let's put it that way. That's just my theory of it. And we know that. Yeah, about 80,000 feet on civil. You're right. And I don't think we have any drones that could even fathom going that high, to tell you the truth. I mean, possible. I would think more like 20,000 feet than anything. But let me see here. While Eric's looking for that, I want to bring up something to you guys too, that, when we look through to the stars and stuff and all that, how we see things that kind of look like, I don't know, they kind of look like this. Okay. This is what I mean by seeing an effect of a portal opening. Okay. If you notice, when you're looking at this, you're looking at a picture of almost like something is, and I hate to say it this way, almost like something is unzipping the sky and peeking through. You know what I mean? So, and it's funny to me, not funny, funny, strange, not funny, haha, that it's almost in the shape of a cross. I thought that was very peculiar. And then we start thinking about, well, Project, Blue Beam, the fake alien invasion, or the fake return of the Messiah, and all this that they're planning, and all the disclosure crap going on, like they're trying to desensitize the population and make the population compliant to whatever the governments of the world want to do, which could lead to the one world order. Just my opinion, okay? But that's my opinion of it. One world order, very bad, very bad. But here is looking through a telescope, and what they say is planets of Venus don't really look like planets at all. They look like beings. You got Sirius there. Sirius looks like a plasma ball, literally. Okay. Jupiter looks like the moon, basically. Venus looks like a sun. Looks literally like 3/4 of a sun. Okay. And Vega actually looks almost angelic looking, to tell you the truth. It's weird, like the Ultraman, the wheel that Ezekiel saw. I don't know, man. It's very strange what's going on in the sky, and we need to always consider that there is things out there that we don't understand, that we don't even have the brain capacity to understand. And when we question it, sometimes we only end up with more questions than we do answers. And that seems to be what's happening a lot lately. And what is it by design? I don't know. If it's by design, it's by something that is beyond mankind's design. It's either a race of beings that is much more advanced than we are, that can manipulate us and can manipulate thought processes and stuff and what we visually see, like a matrix theory, simulation theory. It could be a number of different things, or it could be a divine creator God that's doing this right now. So, or a divine being. So it falls on whatever your beliefs are, basically. Okay. And here's that picture again of one of the sightings. And this is not lens flare. This was confirmed to be not lens flare. Okay. You see the object below the moon. Okay. And then you have these other two objects. And it's just funny how we see 3 dots in the sky occasionally. And there's 3 dots there, almost like a pyramid shape. So, or a triangle. I don't know. I just want you guys to be observant. I want you guys to make sure that if you see something, try to record it if you can, or at least take a picture of it, because nobody's going to believe us if these things are happening. And that's why I try to do what I do with that cheap ass phone of mine on a daily basis, but it doesn't always work out for me. Here's something else I wanted to show you guys. This is what I mean by an angelic being. Okay. Kind of looks like a 5-pointed star, doesn't it? I don't know.
Okay, so
but this is some of the stuff. Yeah, this is some of the stuff that we're seeing in the sky. Go ahead, Eric.
I found a video, but it's too long.
All right. But you see what I mean, though, right? Can you describe it better than I can?
I can screen share it and play it that way.
Yeah, well, that's fine. Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, let me get.
I gotta take a breather.
Okay, give me a second here.
Sorry, guys. It's starting to run out of air a little bit. So while that's playing, I'm going to drink some coffee and try to rest my voice a little bit, my lungs.
Yeah, I'm getting this switched over to my other. Oh, you won't be able to hear the audio, but I can screen share it.
No, that's fine. You don't need to hear the audio.
Okay. This is in Texas and Ohio. And they're talking about the multiple reports of Bigfoot in Ohio. And now meteors and explosions. It's a loud boom.
Yeah.
Does this have video?
Yeah, I watched this whole thing a couple times.
Yeah. And dang thing's shaking cameras and stuff when it goes boom too.
Yeah, watch the dog's reaction.
Saying possibly, confirmed possibly a mediator. This is what the government's saying.
Yeah, you'll know the actual part of the meteor that I'm talking about. Yeah, I think she's the one that reported it originally. Yeah. That's the one over Ohio. It's funny how it doesn't have a illuminated tail, a long tail like a lot of the other ones that we saw falling from the sky.
It's leaving a trail. See, it's leaving a long tail. There.
I guess it's all on perception of how you're seeing it when in each individual location then.
Mm-hmm. Could be.
That's unusual. And then he goes on to describe the magazine covers.
Is there any more of this you want seen?
Well, yeah, we didn't see the one where it's fishing. Well, you might want to fast forward it if you can. There we go. This is it. Yeah, this is it.
Man, it sounds like a freaking war zone.
Yeah, it was over Grand Prairie, Texas, along with these sounds. And you could probably pull it off with a drone with flares and stuff, but it'd be something you'd have to really design intricately. Come on. Now they're still talking about the sky booms.
That's the weird sound. Hold on. Whoa. Dude, that sound that thing's giving off is weird as hell. I've heard that sound
Exactly.
before.
I know. I can't pinpoint it though.
I know I've heard. Oh, I got to hear that one more time. I'm sorry, folks. I need to listen to that one more time. Dude, I know that sound.
I urge everybody, if you haven't followed Minutes to Horror or Seconds to Horror, do it because he's got some really good information. I don't agree with some of the stuff that he puts out. You know, it's kind of like my theories. You know, you don't have to agree all the time, but I just want everybody to be able to have the ability to question it. So,
dude, I know that sound. Where have I heard that sound?
yeah, There's just too much weirdness going on. But I knew that sound too, but I couldn't pinpoint it.
I can't
So I
either,
urge
but I
everybody
know.
to go ahead. Yeah,
I know that
subscribe to
sound.
his channel, to Minister Horror's channel.
That was Seconds to
just
Horror.
watch some of that. Yeah,
That
Seconds to
one-
Horror, Minutes to Horror. They're the same.
Wow, dude. That's kind of. I know that sound. I've heard that sound.
Yeah, exactly.
I want to say I
So
heard it
many
when I was
people
over in
got lost.
Iraq.
I've heard it in the military also, but what it is, I have no clue. I can't remember what it was correlated to. So I'm really seriously thinking that we are at war with something up in the sky. Maybe we're not at war with individual countries per se. Maybe we're at war with a certain race.
Well,
Could it
that
be the
is one.
Anunnaki?
You know, there's a lot of scuttlebutt coming out about it. That's the whole reason for the Space Force. That's one of the theories.
And when in the 80s, when President Ronald Reagan started the Star Wars program, we've had lasers in the sky since the 80s, folks. Okay, this is nothing new. Okay, this is literally nothing new. And I just lost Eric. So is this a case of just hidden technology being used against us?
Damn it.
There he is.
Yeah,
It's okay.
I think I accidentally.
They're messing with you.
No, I think that was me. I was trying to move the mouse around. I think I hit the wrong button.
But anyways, there's technology that we've had, and I'm sure a lot of the vets in the chat can confirm it. That this disclosure that they're doing in DC, this is just smoke and mirrors, folks. That's all it's ever going to be. They're never going to tell you the truth. No, because the truth is whatever narrative they put out there. Plain and simple. That's all the truth is smoke and mirrors. Why do you think I tell you every day when I talk to you all, whether it's privately or over the YouTube channel, I always tell you to question everything. You have that right.
I put the link to that video in the chat.
All right, good. So if anybody wants to go and watch that for themselves, that's fine. But I would highly recommend, because I don't know how much longer I'm going to be able to do this, guys. I really don't. I have my good days and my bad, and it's getting hard to schedule my good days, because usually when my good days pop up, it's usually like within hours of having to schedule a live, and going live. And I've got some other podcasts that I'm going on. This coming Wednesday night at 7 p.m. I'll be on Agents of the Unexplained with Bill Rigby out of Ohio. We'll be discussing the Ohio Bigfoot flap and the meteors and stuff like that, and just basically, Native American legends and beliefs and stuff, and how it all incorporates into what's happening today. The 29th of this month at, I believe, 7:40 p.m. Central Time, which would be, I think, Eric's time. I'll be going on Untold Radio with Doug Hychek and the Big Ragu. So we'll be talking a lot about all kinds of weird subjects. Doug's been a very good friend of mine for several years now, and I think the world of him. And I'm really glad to make his acquaintance and to be able to have that person to talk to that understands a little bit better than most people would when we see strange things. So, and he doesn't make fun of you either. Doug is a very, very kind-hearted person, and he's a very dear brother of mine. So, but look for those two, and then in May, I think I want to say May 2nd, I'll be going on another podcast, but I'll let everybody know when we get close to that. So
we got a couple questions.
Oh, go ahead.
First is Freaky again. Says, is there really a veil anymore?
No, I don't think so. It's like I said, I think it was completely shredded apart, Freaky. I really do. It's gotten to the point where I don't know if anybody else is affected as I am with it, but sleep patterns are being affected bad. Emotional stress is being affected very badly. Physical stress is being expressed, and it's all entangled together with what's going on. And when that happens, when the physicality of a human, along with the mental state and the functions of normal life go haywire and all that, that tells you that something is intertwined with our reality. Okay, those are the way we sense things. Our senses go far beyond the top 5 senses. Okay, there's senses we don't even realize we have until you get into the spirituality of it. Okay, and the intensity that we can make things happen. And is that playing a role? Is something affecting us as energy batteries causing these things to happen? That very well could be too. But it just seems to be like total chaos right now in multiple time frames and multiple dimensions, multiple parallel worlds at the same time, tangled amongst each other. Can we blame CERN and all the other 200 facilities around the world that are just like CERN? We probably could. Do we have proof? Not unless we have insiders. I know there was one insider lady that came out and talked about it and said that there was, beings that could almost be described as demons living in the bowels of this portal that they opened up in CERN. But there's multiple ways we could cause this to happen. Time travel is another one. Nobody knows for sure. I don't care how smart the scientist is. When a scientist tells you that, it's safe to travel back in time as long as you don't touch something or interact with the timeline in any way, shape, or form to change it, how do they know? Unless they did the same thing. Okay. I'm sorry, but that's just speculation. Okay. So time travel could be a role in it. Military, R&D, research and development of weaponry could play a way to cause this. Look at the atomic bombs and stuff that were tested in White Sands. It caused all kinds of things to appear in the sky. There's so much weirdness going on, and we just kind of let it go for so long, Eric, and that's the thing. We let it go and we didn't question it. And why we would as a collective, as sentient beings, intelligent beings, somewhat intelligent beings for hairless apes, why would we let it go for so long without questioning it? Why do we give the powers that be in charge of our individual countries in this world today such the freedom to control everything? Sure, they give us the right to vote, but is it an honest decision we're allowed to make? Is it an effective decision we're allowed to make? That's the other thing too. They give us two choices, maybe three. Why are we limited in our choices? Why can't we write down our choice if it's our opinion and our thought and the way we want our world to be and safe and safe for our grandkids and our children and our children's children and, you know, on down the line, you know, safe for the environment, you know, but yet we let them poison and pollute our waters. We let them poison and pollute our brain cells. We let them give us cancers. We let them, you know, we let them get away with so much. Why? That's my question to everybody. Why do we do that? You know, and I'm not getting on a soapbox, and I'm not preaching today, okay, even though it's Sunday. But I just, you know, that's why I always say question everything, guys. You know, we have to. And it's our God-given right. You know, it's called free will. You know, I just don't understand how we could give. I just don't think if we're going to blame something, we need to blame ourselves. And we need to finally stand up, pull our asses up off the ground by our bootstraps, dust ourselves off, and stand up and fight for a world of safety, harmony, and peace, and where we can be prosperous. Okay, the founding fathers of this country based it on that, on prosperity and freedoms of religion and freedoms of speech, and, you know, and all that. If we don't want that to disappear, and we don't want our world destroyed, then we need to figure out how to save it together, collectively, not blue against red, not Democrat against Republican, not independent taking the median road and sitting on the midline fence. You know, we need to work together collectively. There's no other way. You know, we can talk about liberalism, we can talk about conservatism, all we want, until we work together as a whole, as one unit, like ants do. We're never going to have control of our world. Okay, we're never going to have not chaos, not death and destruction, not war. You know, we're never going to have you know, be able to stop racism or hatred for other countries or other, you know, religions. It just seems to me we've given the powers that be too much power. And, you know, I could be making myself a mark, but you know what? I don't even care anymore. I'm tired. I'm sick and I'm tired of things being the way they are. That's just me, guys. Anyways, let's get off of that subject and on to the reptilian thing, Eric, if you would, please.
We have one last question.
All right, go ahead.
But Judy, is it Iran that has the Stargate that everyone's after?
Actually, one of the Stargates in Iran, yes, is there. One was in Iraq, as we all know. One was actually found in Egypt several years ago. And they thought that one was below the Sphinx there for a while until they found out it was just a void. But yeah, I mean, there's even rumors of an ancient Stargate being in Sedona, Arizona. There's even rumors of a Stargate being buried beneath Bradshaw Ranch.
Look at Brazil in the H blocks.
Exactly, the H blocks, exactly. So, you know, I mean, you know, everybody thinks that a Stargate needs to be this round thing like they saw in that TV show and the movie and stuff, you know. And it doesn't have to be this round thing with all these hieroglyphs on it and all that. All you got to do is do an incantation on an object, okay, and energize that object. And that energy in that object is going to open up a gateway to another realm, okay. And it's old world magic, okay. That's all it is. It's not black magic. It's not white magic. There's, you know, to me, there's no difference between white and black magic. Magic is magic, okay. And I'm sorry, and I know I'm going to piss off some people, you know, and you know, I love my friends and my family and stuff on here, but magic isn't good no matter how you look at it, okay. Magic can affect you physically, spiritually, psychically, mentally. It can change things in your world without you even knowing it, as long as it's a part of your life. Now, there is a divine magic, okay? And about the only way I can describe it is a divine magic. And that is when we pray. Like last night, I was laying on the couch, and I have to lay down sitting up basically because of the acid that's in my, well, it used to be my stomach, that's in my I guess my esophagus now, to control it so I don't aspirate when I sleep. And I was basically inclined up, praying and stuff, and I kind of just felt like the room just didn't exist anymore. That is a form of magic. That is a divine magic that the Ethiopian Bible talks about, that even the King James Bible talks about it. There's a difference in that, because when you have something coming from a divine being, okay, whether you call him the creator, God, Heavenly Father, Jesus, whatever you want to call him, Yeshua, it doesn't matter what you want to call him. It's still the divine being that created everything, including us. And when you make that connection and you connect that conduit, that spiritual conduit to him, nothing else matters. It's like time stops. You can hear a pin drop. Okay. And when you do that, when you pray with intensity, it's almost like having an out-of-body experience. And some of you out there will understand what I'm saying. Okay, I know if D is in the house listening, or David is in the house listening. I'm sure you guys understand what I'm talking about. Dennis, everybody that is very, very spiritually focused and centered when they pray. I'm sure and positive you know what I'm talking about. That energetic state of out-of-body experience, to where you almost feel like when you pray, you send this pulse, this wave throughout the world, almost like you're interacting with the energies of the earth and the sky, which is the creator. Let's call it what it is. He created the earth and the sky, and everything else in between. So just putting it out there.
You have another question, and this one here, yeah, I agree. Muriel says, can sound open up a portal or Stargate? I mean, ancient Sumerians talk about all the time. Frequency is what you need to operate that portal.
Yes.
I believe a Stargate is a portal.
Yes. Yes. And Yes, the only difference between a stargate and a portal is a stargate can be a physicality location and stay in one place. Portals, and in my experience dealing with them in ceremony, um, portals can be like, how do I want to say it? Okay, here's a perfect example. Okay, picture this. Okay, you know how people have seen Bigfoot or Sasquatch with orbs. Okay, picture this, if you will. Why is the orb with the Bigfoot or the Sasquatch? Okay, because the orb is attached energy to the entity. Okay, just like our energy. Okay, so when we travel and we do ceremony and we do, you know, ritual and stuff like that, and even pray and prayer, our energy and the frequency of our prayers and the vibrations we put off from that feeling of having that prayer connection, that conduit to the creator, puts off that almost like that ripple effect into the atmosphere, okay, from our prayers. That's what opens the portal. Okay, that the frequency, the vibration, the intensity, and the connection. Okay, so picture that orb as being our energy, and that orb being the portal that opens up. Okay, portals can travel with us, and they don't have to be a physical object to be used. Okay, that's the difference. Gateways stay in like one location. Okay, and gateways are a lot bigger than a portal is. Gateways can bring other worlds into ours. Okay, gateways can allow more than just one object at a time through. Okay, they can do massive objects at a time through. Okay, I often think that maybe some of the sonic booms that we're hearing are in fact gateways being opened. And that's just my theory on it. You know, it's something to try to grasp the cause and effect of opening portals and working with gateways and stargates. Stargates are portals; they're not gateways. Okay, like I said, gateways are huge. Okay, gateways can cover, well, in my research with gateways through the missing apocrypha and basically tracking paranormal activity, cryptid activity, and UFO activity and all that, and other strangeness. Like one of the gateways that I located encompasses the entire state of Utah, all the way down into basically part of Texas and Arizona, down to Area 51. Okay, and maybe even a little further. That shows you how big a gateway can be. Okay, a gateway can be multiple states in size. Another gateway that I found is over the Great Lakes, from Lake Superior, Huron, Michigan, and Lake Erie. All four of those Great Lakes has a gateway over them. Okay, this is where we have a lot of the weirdness happening with the water. Okay, and when you deal with gateways over water, water is also used as a portal. Okay, it's used as a scrying mirror. Okay, so water is going to be affected by that gateway and intensified. So objects are going to disappear and reappear within that water below the gateway constantly. And that's why we have so many sightings and weirdness over the Great Lakes. That's why we have so many sightings and weirdness of creatures in the oceans you know, in, you know, it all correlates. And for people to not understand and comprehend, like I've said all along, the supernatural has everything to play within our world. Everything. It affects everything from cryptids to UFOs to alien beings to stuff we see in the sky and in the waters. Okay. It was all laid out there in front of us in a book that is literally a guidebook. Okay. It's literally the Ethiopian Bible. It's a guidebook. Okay. It's the 88 books of the Bible, the original Bible. Okay. And it tells you everything and reasons for everything if you read it. Okay. The King James Version, I'm sorry, but, you know, I don't want to water down this effect. But the King James Bible, although it is a, you know, considered the Bible of today, it's not the complete books. Okay. And I think when you look at the difference between the two and you compare the two, you'll see the connections that we missed and how much, going back to that divine magic that the Bible talks about, plays a role in supernatural stuff in our world today. And there is that connection. We've always had that connection. And that it's important not to lose that connection, because when we lose that connection, we lose the connection to the Creator. And before God, the Heavenly Father, Yeshua, was given a name, his first name was the Creator. Before anything else. What have the indigenous people in America always said? They pray to the Creator. Okay. Wankantanka. Okay. It's so simple. Yeah. It's so simple. You know, it is so simple. It really is. When you understand that connection to what's going on today with portals, gateways, cryptids, UFOs and all that, and weird weather. I mean, yeah, weather's manipulated because it's a weapon of war. We all know that. It's a way for powerful corporations to get their way, powerful governments to get their way on property owners. And that's about as far as I'm going to go with that, because it is what it is. We all know. Okay. Nobody's stupid on that aspect of it. But yeah, it's amazing what you see when you make these connections to the divine aspect of things, to the physical aspect of things. There is that connection. And those of you that have worked with me, even locally, David and Melissa, you know for a fact that connection is real. You know, Daniel Benoit, you know that connection is real. Okay. Chadwick Gales knows that connection is real. Okay. Josh, you know that connection is real, my brother in Pennsylvania. That connection that makes everything correlate. Okay. And that's what we're facing right now. And I think that what we got going on with the whole quantum entanglement thing just makes that even more intense, because now you're drawing other dimensions and other time frames and stuff into our world. And we're dealing with things that we were never made aware of that were even existing, except through one book.
Well, people don't stop and think. It's not called the King James Bible. It's called the King James Version.
Exactly.
The key word is version. It's his version of the Bible.
Yep. Did you know that a certain past president in the 1700s wrote his own Bible.
Huh.
Did you know that?
Nope.
Yeah, he did.
Actually,
And actually, he basically he incorporated some of the teachings of the current Bible um, at the time, and that
actually say
president
that.
was
It does sound familiar.
that president was a certain how I want to say this. He is on a certain bill that we have in circulation. And his initials are TJ. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about. It's Thomas Jefferson, folks. He actually wrote his own version of the Bible. He eliminated things and redid things back in his day, and I'm not sure if that Bible's still. I'm sure it's still around. That there's a couple copies of it around, but what we have to understand is why change the original? Okay, why can't certain individuals not change things? Okay, then you got to go back and think about, well, there's other things out there that have been changed too in history, and it's cause and effect is what it is. Literally, it's cause and effect. Okay, so it's almost like how do I want to say this? I'll take, for instance, 1893, the book about Barron Trump was written.
Mm-hmm.
How did they know? How did they know somebody by the name of Barron Trump was going to be in the position of yeah, exactly, of where he would be today? Isn't that funny? It's almost like it's premeditated, like it's a written narrative in advance. And until we figure out why and who's doing it and why they're doing it, is time travel playing a role in it? Is portals playing a role in it? Other dimensions mixing together in ours playing a role in it? I mean, who knew about that book that Eric just held in his hand 10 years ago? 20 years ago.
There's two books, actually.
Yeah, I know. There's one in 1893 and one in 1895. But, who knew? 25 years ago, 30 years ago, 40 years ago, who knew that those books existed? Did they exist? Or were they just added to through somebody going back in time and doing those things? How many of you ever saw, whenever a president speaks, especially President Trump speaks from the Oval Office, how many of you ever noticed the thing on his desk or the table behind him? It looks like an oraphim. Okay, it looks like an oraphim angel. It's a round, almost like a globe with multiple rings around it. Okay, and it has things written on those rings. Okay, call it angelic script, call it hieroglyphics, call it whatever you want. I think that object is a scaled down model of what is being used for time travel. And I think the only one that had use of that object was the Trump family. And I believe, and I believe, you knew where I was going with this, Eric, you knew it. I believe that those missing trunks from a certain FBI agent that showed up on the scene first, that was related to Trump, acquired yeah, acquired that technology. Okay. And they secretively developed that technology. Because when I was growing up, I never heard on the news or anything about a book being written about Baron Trump in 1893, or how a powerful king named Trump would take over, on a book written in 1895. Never heard a word about it. And then all of a sudden things change. And 10 years ago, we start hearing about these books. Isn't that odd? I mean, think about it. If he went back in time, or someone in his family went, or even Baron went back in time and did that, okay, and came back. I'm not saying that Baron did, but it's just funny how things happen. Okay. And to me, it just makes sense that they manipulated time travel to change things.
What is it that we went to the big kitty litter box to take, and what does it do?
At the Dollar Tree, take him sleeping on the bed really comfortably.
All right.
Just keep an eye on
All right. I got about 15 minutes or so before I have to get off of here.
Mm-hmm.
I got to babysit Jacob.
Does anybody remember where we went to that big kitty litter box for, and what did that thing do? And it ties together with what we're talking about.
I thought I had a
nope,
picture.
Not Gilgamesh's Gate. Nope. It's a thing, an Anunnaki artifact called the Looking Glass. And you take it to certain power points, wherever it could be. It could be up in the air, it could be on the water, it could be under the water, it could be on land, and it predicts up to 150,000 different scenarios of the future. Mm-hmm. And if you play that right, you can control the future. If somebody had a time machine and knew that certain individuals was trying to destroy the world, would it be far-fetched if they went back and changed it?
Exactly. And what's to say that, even the reptilian race that we're going to talk about here, briefly, mm-hmm. isn't involved in that. They say that, dinosaurs changed into birds and became birds. I think, yeah, it's possible that a certain percentage of species of dinosaur from the day, or dragons, as I like to call them, from the day, changed. I don't believe for one instance that something can't be developed. And I use the word developed, Eric, when it comes to dinosaurs, because I believe evolution works to a point. Okay. Yeah. Basically, evolution has to do with the environment you live in. In order for a being to adapt and survive, they have to adapt and survive to their environment. Okay. If you live in a swamp, you have to get used to every aspect of living in that swamp in order to survive. You put that being in a desert environment, they're not going to survive. Okay. Because they're used to the swamp. Okay. To me, that's evolution. Okay. That is the whole basis of evolution. It's environmentally introduced and makes you susceptible to living in certain environments. Evolution is not development. Development is when another species that is smarter than an existing species comes in and says, "Oh, this would be really cool if we crossbred it with that dinosaur over there, or the dragon, and this monkey. I wonder what would happen if we made that. Maybe a reptilian race, maybe a race of beings that have been here just as long as if not longer than humanity. Maybe there's so much that can be said. I mean, I myself have done investigations on reptilian beings being reported here locally where we live. And David and Melissa and I have talked about this numerous times. Right down the road from me and right up the road from them, in a certain locality, it was reported by a young lady to me at one of the Bigfoot conventions that she had seen these human-looking people that lived near her in their backyard in a secluded rural area literally change. And whenever you talk to somebody, you always try to watch their physical and emotional reaction to things. It's like when you see somebody shaking and trembling and that lower lip of theirs shivering out of fear, you know that there's fear involved, that fear was so intense that it physically affected them. Okay. That kind of intensity when she spoke. Okay. So she was definitely afraid. All right. And she said that these people changed literally right in their own backyard, that she saw tail and everything. They stood 12 feet tall and basically were reptilians. She described them as tiny dragons, as small dragons. Small dragons. Well, why would the Smithsonian want to cover up the existence of dragons?
Mm-hmm.
Think
the
about
Vatican
it.
Did.
Exactly. Because the Vatican influenced them to do it. And that's it right there. The Smithsonian is the hand to the arm of the Vatican.
Yep.
Plain and simple. They control the narrative. I'm sorry, but that's just the facts. Okay? That's the facts of it. And until we realize that we've never had control of our world, and we probably never will, I don't know what to say, man. It is what it is. So I don't know. Are reptilians evil? I think that it just could be just like humanity. There's a certain part of humanity that's evil. The whole duality thing comes into effect when you talk about, evil and good. Can't have one without the other, unfortunately. But as a divine being, we're supposed to live a certain way, and, the difference between the King James version of the Bible and the Ethiopian version of the Bible too, Eric, is the fact that the King James version says you have to love everyone. Okay. The Ethiopian Bible doesn't say that.
Well, look how many times I've showed scriptures on here about these creatures that we talk about, Bigfoot, dragon, whatever it is. I always show you the Torah and I always show you the King James version. Look how much bigger and more descriptive the Torah is compared to the King James version.
Exactly. So I urge everybody to just, do your own research, make up your own mind on what the truth is, but don't take social media as 100% conclusive evidence. Don't take mainstream media as 100% of conclusive evidence. Do your own work. Do your own research, okay? And you'll see things that you never knew existed and you never knew happened. When we start talking about reptilians, I mean, we're not far off from talking about people that have been in control for a very, very long time. The devil is in the details, folks. Literally. The devil is in the details. Okay. When you have people that seem to exist forever, like take this, Anne Hesh was seen on a TV bursting out of the body bag after the media said that she was no longer with us. Epstein files later said cannibal Ellen DeGeneres ate her after known doing the deed. Did we even know what this world has come to? And that is an exact description. Okay. Is she a cannibal? No. Is she a vampire? Is she a reptilian and shapeshifter? You know, Anne Hesh was exposing a lot of Hollywood inside. Okay. And I've always said that Hollywood insides are more than what we think. Okay. Are they demons, aka reptilians, or are they considered fallen angels? Certain bloodlines, the 13 families in control. You know, are certain people literally Lucifer? Think about it. Now, just think about it. I want everybody to have an open mind. I know, but when you think about what the Bible says, the King of Kings and Lord of Lords was Jesus Christ. Well, who has always tried to be the sole king? Lucifer. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there's certain things that can be said about the whole situation with immortals. Okay. And I understand a lot of people don't believe it. I'm not 100% sold on Elvis being Satan either, or Lucifer.
Not considering he's a preacher in Arkansas
but
right
I will,
now. No.
well, just because somebody's a preacher doesn't mean that they can't be affected by a demon or a devil. Okay.
I don't think he's it.
Well, all you got to do is take a look at some of these older preachers from the 80s. And I'm not even going to name some names because I don't want to put it out there, but I'm sure some of you know what I'm talking about. They are influenced. Okay. There's one person in particular, a Joel Osteen, that doesn't even really preach the Bible. He preaches more of a type of improving yourself. You know, he's like a self-help coach. He's not a preacher. Okay.
Yeah.
And there's others out there. I'm not saying, you know, their names, but it is what it is. Okay.
Yeah.
All I want everybody to understand is that they need to question everything. They need to look at the world through multiple ways of envisioning things, through their eyes and through their ears. Okay. You need to have the eyes to see and the ears to hear. Okay. That's the only way you're going to be able to function in this world. Okay. Plain and simple. And until we have the ability to understand that not everything's going to be as it's portrayed to us with our vision or our hearing, that we are being manipulated, and we have been manipulated for a long time now, it's just going to get worse. You know, it's literally going to get worse. With that being said, you know, there's something to be said about patterns in the world. And I've always been one to tell you guys to watch for patterns, watch for numerical patterns, for word patterns, for music patterns, for a number patterns, you know, and all kinds of stuff. Well, here's one I want you to consider. Okay. One of the greatest icons of all time, Chuck Norris, recently passed away. And rest in peace, brother. But, you know, at the same time, things happen in threes. Okay. Kind of like what Nikola Tesla said. Everything happens in threes. Why did he circle his building 3 times before he entered it where he lived? He walked around his building 3 times every time he exited his building before he went into it. Why do you think that is? Because things happen in patterns. Okay. Here's number 2. Some of you may not know him, but Nicholas Brendan. He played on Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. He's another one. So who's going to be the third one? Who's going to be the third one, folks? We have Chuck Norris, the icon from the 70s, into today, the epitome of fitness and mental health. I mean, the man was incredible. And then you have Nicholas Brendan. Yeah, he had his situational problems. I'm not going to get into details of it, but he also passed away. Okay. Who's going to be the third one? There's going to be 3 of them. I'm telling you, there's going to be another one coming up that is going to, unfortunately, be unalived. If it hasn't happened already, and I just don't know about it. It's just funny how things happen in patterns. So to the friends and families of both Chuck Norris and Brendan, Nicholas Brendan, my deepest sympathies, my prayers for peace and comfort for you all. And watch for the third one. That's all I can say, guys. Watch for the third one. Things are changing. Things are happening, evolving, and we don't understand it. So, in conclusion, what are your final thoughts on things, Eric?
Yeah, a lot of stuff we talked about today, I kind of agreed. Evidence supports it. History supports it. It's like we always say, never take what we say for granted. Take it with a grain of salt. Do your own research, and then
Exactly.
Build upon it. Hey, Irwin. Yeah, you're right. I forgot about it. Robert Duvall died on February 15th.
Who was it?
Robert Duvall.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I forgot about that too.
Yeah. But, I mean, these things are definitely possible.
No,
There's a lot of...
That's the
but
3.
Yeah, that's 3. It's definitely possible. A lot of credible stuff that would support that theory and say that this stuff is actually happening. I can't tell you for 100 fact, for sure that it is. It's a theory. It's a hypothesis. That's how we build as we go and look on this and we start testing these things and trying to figure it out. So I'm interested to see where this goes. Someone made the comment earlier, why would the Vatican hide about stuff but turn around and make movies about it? Well, it's not the Vatican that's doing it. There's people that's trying to expose or leak this stuff out softly because we've been too brainwashed to believe it.
Exactly.
So
exactly.
If it comes out like a flood, like they, a lot of people say, oh, I can handle it, that information. You may be able to, but millions of others can't handle it. You got to leak it in a way that everybody adjusts to it. There's people fighting that type of stuff. There's people wanting to expose these things that we talk about on here, to wanting to give everybody the information that we so desperately scream that we want. It's there. They're leaking it out. We're just blinded at what's happening. So we got to open our eyes to it.
Yeah. And that's why we always, and this isn't topics of, this is just a bunch of friends sitting around a kitchen table and talking about stuff. Okay. This is no way, we're not saying and putting this out there that it's our, it's what's happening. All we are trying to do is to ignite that spark within each and every one of you to do your own research, to find your own way through seeking the answers to things, to the questions that we have always had. Okay. But we never had the nerve to ask. Now's the time.
Yeah.
Because time's running out, guys. It really is.
With these soft exposures, these whistleblowers, now is the time. Look at this stuff, dissect it, research it, investigate it. You want to know, I'm tired of waiting too, Bounty, but the thing is we're not actually waiting. It's being put out in front of us. It's just, we got to realize what we're looking at.
Yep, exactly.
And that's a key. You got to know what you're looking at. If you don't know what you're looking at, then we're going to be, I'm still exposed. It's being exposed. Look how many years it took UFOs to finally come to light. Exactly. Look how much Bigfoot's being brought to light. Look how much dragons are being brought to life. Look at all this other stuff that people said never existed that is being brought to the light. The Vatican got exposed for hiding dragons.
Yep.
Exposed. It's being brought to the light. It's just being trickled.
Well, with that being said, we're gonna. Anybody have any final thoughts or questions they want to discuss? Let's do it now. And then I'm going to get in and remind everybody what podcast I'm going to be going on here in the near future, and what's going on with next Sunday's show, and we'll go from there. So if anybody has any questions, Robert Mueller. Oh, Michelle. Yeah, that's right. That happened too. Okay. Well, there's going to be two more. There's going to be two more.
I just seen that as you was reading it.
Yeah. There's going to be two more. You mark my words, because it always happens in threes.
Uno, dos, or tres.
Yep. Thank you, Urso. All views and expressions are not necessarily the expressions and views of Nighthawk Eye Strangers podcast. Discretion is advised. Thank you, Urso. I always can trust Urso and Roxanne to have my back. Always.
I need a funny noise from when we do that. Where's your little hoo-haws? I know you got the little hoo-haws on here. I don't remember.
Tyler, it's good to see you in the chat, man. It's really good to see you in there. And let's not forget Freaky's in there, and Michelle.
Who's Freaky?
Bounty is always good. And Hillbilly, you're good to see you in there, man. Judy, as always. Man, my eyesight is going. Wow. Whew.
Bounty's got a question. What is a good book? What is a good book or website you would recommend to study numbers?
Honestly, there's not too many places out there where you're going to find it. All you can really do is check your numerology and check your angelic script. You can also, and I hate to say this, but you can also go to the Library of Congress, and you can type in on the search bar what you're looking for, and it'll pinpoint books and subjects that you can actually check into. You can go to there was one other site, I can't remember what it is though. IMB.com or something like that, .org. It's something like that. And you can Google it there. Or you can just Google it, give it a try on Google, and utilize that great AI everybody's talking about. That's going to be a whole another animal. Yeah.
Yeah, I just had an interesting conversation with a relative over that because he questioned our family history because AI said it wasn't true.
That's how it begins. How many of you out there saw my post on Facebook about the woman that was the grandmother from a state not even close to the state of the crime, was arrested and put in jail for 6 months and lost her home and everything because AI confirmed that her photograph was the photograph of the subject that was involved
Wow.
in a crime.
Wow.
And it wasn't even the same state. They went to a southern state and got this woman and arrested her.
Wow.
And while she was in jail for 6 months fighting for it, and got released finally because it was fraudulent charges. So they basically ended it. She lost her home, she lost her dog, she lost everything because of AI.
I'd be really going to jail for a good reason because of that. After that,
So
Judy has a question. Thoughts about Billy Carson on all his work? And I can tell you, first off, I liked him at the beginning, but he started going a direction that was, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of him anymore. I don't know how much I would
can I honestly answer that? Can I,
Yeah,
Judy?
go ahead.
Can I honestly answer that without getting in trouble? I for one, I'm all for everybody trying to figure out what's going on. Okay, but how do I want to say this? I gotta be delicate here. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that Billy Carson is an evil guy or a bad person or even his wife. They're both incredible people. And as a whole, I respect them for their vast knowledge and their wanting to help humanity, and figure out some of the things. Do I agree with him 100% of the time? No. No more than you guys agree with me 100% of the time. And I wouldn't expect you to agree with me 100% of the time. I wouldn't. But when I saw the video of a oh my God, it just dawned on me. The third one. Oh, wow. It just dawned on me. Oh, wow. Now it makes sense. When a certain UFO expert that recently passed away, some of you know who I'm talking about, who has a book called The Chariots of the Gods. Before he passed away, he did a thing that I called everybody out on social media and told everybody that it was ritual. It was a divine ritual thing called passing the torch of enlightenment. Okay. What happened was that they were sitting and Billy Carson was just patiently waiting and talking to this certain individual that is now deceased, whom I respected very much, for his knowledge, which I didn't agree with all the time either, just putting it out there. But he was very knowledgeable, to say none the least. But he literally said a phrase when he handed this torch, literally like the Liberty Torch, to Billy Carson and said, I pass on the task of enlightening humanity. You don't say that phrase without having something come from it. Okay. That's like saying the word abracadabra. Okay. As I speak, so shall it be. Okay. It's not abra. It's not with a B. It's abra cadabra. Okay. As I speak, so shall it be. Okay. Same thing with that whole incident. So do I like Billy Carson? Do I agree with him? Not 100% of the time. Do I like him? I like what he's trying to uncover. Do I trust him? No, I don't. Okay. I'm sorry. I don't. That's just my opinion. Okay. So, Judy, to answer your question, what torch of enlightenment was passed to him? I mean, that kind of has a biblical meaning to it, doesn't it? I mean, wouldn't you perceive it that way, Judy? Just my thought, okay? And anybody out there. General McCaslin is another one. Yes, Hillbilly. I agree with that 100% too. Sorry, I'm behind in the chat. There's going to be false prophets, guys. Okay, I mean, I'm not trying to instill upon you guys any belief of mine. Okay, I want it to be strictly up to you to make up your own decision. That's why I always tell you, question everything, do your own research, study it, research it, investigate it on your own. Don't take my word for it. Okay, I'm a man. I'm an old, tired Native American man, okay, who has done a lot and seen a lot in my lifetime. And I just want you guys to know that there is so much more out there that you're not seeing and can't comprehend until you start questioning it. Okay? So, that being said, I'm gonna be on Agents of the Unexplained podcast this Wednesday at 7 p.m. 7 p.m. Eastern with Bill Rigby, my brother from my Pennsylvania mother. We're going to be talking about the Bigfoot flap and the meteors and Native American ways and beliefs to what's happening today. A little bit more in depth in what we're talking about today, with more of a Native aspect of it. And then next, on the 29th, I'll be talking with Doug Hychek and the Big Ragu on the Untold radio program. Okay, and urge you all to watch that. I'm not even sure what the subject matter is going to be on that one, Eric. He hasn't disclosed it, so it's going to be. I'm going to be blindsided. I guarantee it. Doug is a dear brother of mine, and I love the man to death. I really do, and I think the world of him and his family, and it is what it is. So bring it on, Dougie boy. That's all I got to say. Bring it on. But that's what I got going on, and then of course next Sunday with our show here again. So if I get something on Friday night, I'll try. It just depends on how I feel, guys. Okay. But that's what I got going on. What do you got going on, man?
You're going to go on the show, and the first thing you're going to hear is, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls from all over the world, let's get ready to rumble. Man, I've got an exciting show tonight. I am very, very blessed. I haven't done a Q&A panel in just a hair over a year. I have Jesus Payon Jr. I have Mary Ann. I have Corey. I have Saint Loco. And I have Jeff. Huh?
Do you have the professor? Because you got Mary Ann.
Yeah. No, I don't have the professor. And I got Jeff, the milkman coming on, and so I've got a diverse panel of people dealing with cryptids, paranormal, supernatural. Each one of my panelists has an experience in one, if not multiple, of these fields. So we're going to be there to answer your questions to the best of our knowledge with what we have found, what our experiences have been, and what we've been heard. So that's on tonight, 6 o'clock p.m. Central Standard Time on my show, The Bizarre and the Unknown. I'm looking forward to it. It's going to be a blast. There's 6 of us all together on there. It's going to be a hoot, man. So I'm looking forward to it.
Good. Jeff is a good guy, man. I'll tell you what, I think the world of Jeff. So that being said, everybody, please be observant. Please be safe. Please watch what you eat and drink. Please pray. Please just do what you do to make your life work, okay, and to respect all things in your travels. Walk with reverence and respect for everything. And just question it. Question everything, man. You have that right, okay? Because we've been letting the powers that be get away with stuff for way too long, okay? We need to question it, guys. All right. With that being said, I love each and every one of you. Brother Eric, love you to death, brother. Thank you for being here and helping and giving your insight. And I'll see everybody in the chat on Eric's show later on today, okay? So
yeah.
everybody have a great day, and we'll talk to you all later.
Peace, love, and blessings, everyone.
The sky turned black, the stars fell down. United we stand, but we're losing ground. One world beneath the iron fist. Voices silenced, they cease to resist. Echoes of hope in the darkening night. Fading whispers of a long lost life.